These are the instructions for your element project. When you click on your Schoology, you'll notice that the atomic structure and periodic table folder is at the top. You need to click on it. You'll scroll to the bottom and you'll see the project folder right here is the element project. When you first open your element project, you're going to notice that there's quite a bit of information in this folder. The very first thing that you're going to notice is the due dates and the assigned part of the project. So you'll notice that the total points for this is 323 test grade points. That's what summative means. It will be broken down into different point values, but the total is going to be 323 points. So this could really make or break your grade. So I'm assigning it on the 1st of November. Each student will be choosing their element on this day. Then on the 19th, they will have to present their model, and we're going to be discussing each one of these in depth in just a moment. They'll have to present their model. That's going to be a total of 63 points. Then on the 29th, they will have to submit their research page. This will be done in Kami. It will be a total of 75 points. Then on the 2nd of December, they will be starting presentations on their information. We're going to be talking about the presentation in just a moment. It will be a total of 140 points. Then they will have their first 36 element presentation, which will be 45 points on December the 6th. So the very first thing that they're going to be turning in is your element project model. So you are going to create a model scale of your element based off these different requirements. So we're going to go over the instructions first. So the rubric is included right up here. This is exactly what I need you to involve in your model. This model will be a 3D representation, meaning you cannot just have a colored sheet of paper. You have to include actual 3D models. So this is not meant for your parents to do. This model, everything on this you should be able to do all of it entirely by yourself without your parents' assistance. The materials that you should use, which is going to be right here, do not go out and buy anything. Please just use what you can find around your house. So rice, beans, bottle caps, rolled up pieces of paper, cotton balls, Q-tips, pipe cleaner, colored marshmallows, toothpicks, candy, anything that you have access to, use it. Be creative. Do not go out to Walmart and make your parents buy you all of the materials for this model. It should really be a recyclable model, to be quite honest. Anything that you find at your house can easily be used. If you need, but you do not have the following, please come see me and we will get it to you. So if you need Elmer's glue, which is like the liquid glue, you need paper, colored pencils, scissor, or hot glue, please let me know and we can get it I can get it to you. Now the hot glue will have to be done at school, so you'll have to bring all of your materials and we'll discuss a good time for you to do that. But anything else can be checked out, like the Elmer's glue, the paper, the colored pencils or scissors. I can check you out a packet of it and you can take it home, use it, and then bring it back at the end of the presentation. Here are some examples that I found on the internet and that I've seen previously done in years past. Notice that all of these are very simple. Like this was a pizza box and they used candy. This one was pipe cleaners and they used cotton balls and beads. So, all of these things can be done using different types of beans or different color rice, things that you would have at your house. Cut off the end of Q-tips. You would have it at your house that you can easily make it out of. Here is the rubric. This is exactly what I'm going to be grading by. So it tells you exactly what you have to have in order to succeed. If you have a question about any of this, please feel free to message me in Schoology or come talk to me about it. So this is the first part of the element project. The second part of the element project is the resource page, or the research page. So this is the research page that you would find in Kami. You would type the name of your element here, and then you would be filling in the information in each of these boxes. You're going to be filling these in as we learn about it. However, I have provided you exactly what you could type into Google to find the answer. So when you get your element, you're going to learn about what an atomic number is, and it'll be very easy to find on your periodic table, along with pretty much everything else on here. However, some of this stuff, like 3 interesting facts, you may have to Google. So I provided you the question of what you could put into the Google search bar in order for you to easily find the information. This will be submitted through Kami. That is your research page. Remember, that is due Tuesday, the 29th. So that is the Tuesday we get back from Thanksgiving. Then we have our presentation. So our presentation folder is right here. This is the rubric that I'm going to be using. Now, there are two different options, or really three different options you can do. You can do the Google Slide option, which has information about exactly what needs to go into your Google slide. It has to be at least 20 slides and include all of these different things. You have to use good graphics, and then you have to cite all of your sources. You need to have a reference page. All I expect out of your reference page is for you to copy and paste the websites that you're using. That's your Google slide option. You would be doing that independently. The comic book or children's book. So this is the information that you have to have. You can work with a partner on this one. If you want to pair up, you create a superhero with your element, your partner creates a supervillain, and you tell a story about it. Or you use your two elements in a children's book. Now, please keep in mind that this does have to be illustrated on your own. And it needs to be in an actual book form, or you can take pictures of the paper and upload it to a Google Doc. So once you have finished planning, you need to write your story out of the adventures. So you need to have at least 3 paragraphs, 5 complete sentences, and describe how your super saved the day. And it would be completed in a Google Doc. Now, you do need to have some illustration with this. I'm not going to limit. So you've got to create the comic book with 30 different images. So you need to have your written paragraphs as well as your 30 images. So comic books, when you're reading through a comic book, you don't always quite grasp all of the information through just the images. That's why I'm requiring you to write your 3 paragraphs. With the children's short book, you need to have at least 15 colored pages, and then you need to include, a written story with those colored pages. Now, please, here are some questions that you need to think about. What is the case that you're wanting to present? Why is this your favorite adventure of your supers? Which villain or superhero did you fight? How did your super be able to use their superpower? Now, please keep in mind that your special powers need to be based off the physical and chemical properties of your element. I understand they're going to be loosely related. However, if your element is a strong, solid metal, then that may be a strength of yours. But let's say it has a low melting point and can easily become a liquid. That may be a weakness. So these are things that you need to be thinking about with your physical and chemical properties, because superheroes and supervillains have to have strengths and weaknesses. You're going to label these parts of your super. So you're going to specifically tell me about these things. Explain how your super got these powers. Just come up with a story. And then tell me your super's weaknesses. Remember, this should be loosely based off the physical and chemical properties of your element. And you're going to label the parts of your super and the weaknesses. Those labelings will be done in these 3 paragraphs. You're going to be explaining those out to me. Then in your comic book, I should be able to clearly see them from the pictures and your fight with your superhero and supervillain. So you will be presenting this to the class. Here is the rubric that I will be grading by. So it is a lot of points. So you will have to present between 3 and 5 minutes. If it goes over or shorter, then you will have points docked. Make sure that you're not reading straight from your material. That is part of the delivery. You need to have eye contact. It needs to be well rehearsed. It needs to be presented from the material but not read directly off of it. You need to make sure that you are including all the requirements from your options. Make sure that it is well researched. Remember, you've already provided a research page. So take the information from your research page to present, to create this presentation. Don't do all of the work all over again. The citations need to be in the back of your presentation. They need to be listed in alphabetical order. So you need to have any websites, you need to have at least 5 websites. Now we're going to be talking more about this as we go through the unit, but this is pretty much covering it, and you need to be responsible for working on this throughout the unit as we go through. The last part of the project is the first 36 element presentation. So this project, all you're doing is memorizing the first 36 elements. You're going to come and stand in front of me with your back to the periodic table, and you're just going to begin. You're going to say 1 hydrogen, 2 helium, and you're just going to go through the first 36 elements. Now, you need to, when you finish telling me the first 36, I will say, what is the symbol for hydrogen? And you will say H. And I will go through a couple of those just to make sure that you know and you've memorized the name and the symbol for each element. So you don't have to memorize the symbols in order. You have to memorize the names in order, but you need to be able to tell me the symbol that's associated with the name when asked. So that is all of your element project. Please remember that you will be learning more about the elements and what makes them up in the periodic table as we go through the unit. So this project has been set up for you to increase the information of your project as you increase the knowledge based off what you learn. And if you have any questions, you can message me through Schoology or come ask.